So a few days ago, the NFL first round concluded, and it was one for the ages. I think one that all NFL fans were looking forward to. Seeing the Niners did a great job of not letting their pick get leaked out there. Usually, you can have an idea of which teams are going to take who, especially quarterback wise. It went how we expected with the first two picks. Trevor Lawrence going number one, Zach Wilson quietly just sneaking up to being the second pick, and no one really arguing about it. Like, okay, I guess. So then the draft hits, and then now everyone's trashing on him. It's like, okay, why didn't you do that months leading up to everyone knowing?
They really waited a day or two, 3. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, and it is weird because I almost want to say not that he's gonna be a bust, but I'm just I don't know. But then you watch the highlights, geez, this kid could be really, really good. He really does make some Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes throws, which I don't even say that lightly because it actually does kind of look like them. But who knows if he'll actually be Mahomes and Rodgers.
Yeah, and you know what though, this is the thing that sucks too, is that when it comes to quarterbacks, though, we can't judge them a whole year, and we have to wait 4 years, to really, and see where they're at, to be okay, you're trash, you're not trash, you're good,
Right, it took Alex Smith 4 years, so then, unfortunately, had that terrible leg injury and just retired, Congrats on a great career to him, but it took him a bit to get going, but once he got going, he was a really good quarterback, maybe he's definitely a tier 2 guy, really good Pro Bowl, can make an All-Pro, could lead your team to the playoffs and whatnot. So it does, like you're saying, it takes forever, and it's so hard to grade these quarterbacks. Who knows, honestly? Even the QB gurus who, actually, they really know what they're talking about, they're not wrong about what they're saying. It's just, you just don't know who's going to be good and who's not. We did the draft history of the last 10 years of quarterbacks, and most of them haven't been Pro Bowlers. Most of them aren't on the team that they were with or stick around at all. It's so tough. It's not like basketball or other positions. Typically you can look at an offensive lineman and you can be okay, this guy's going to be good. Here's why, and they usually are. You can look at a receiver saying he doesn't get hurt, going to be good, and it's so tough. Even with basketball, I feel it's a lot easier too, because you can just see the skills and what he's going to be potentially, and I just feel football quarterback position, it's just impossible to predict what they're going to be.
Also, you gotta think about their coaches, the schemes, the system. It's the organization, just all that stuff. There's so much, and so much stuff they can't even control, Trevor Lawrence could honestly be really bad these next 4 years, just because Jacksonville is not a great place for quarterbacks. But he could be great once he leaves Jacksonville, just because how inconsistent they have shown in the past. So it's they've shown they can be in the past. So it's so much stuff, and you can never really predict what's gonna happen.
No, it's impossible. Who knows? You just never know. Sam Darnold, he's definitely a guy of circumstances to where he was at, just being going to Adam Gase, gotta suck as a young quarterback, going to a Jets, bad Jets organization that didn't help him out one bit. They didn't really get him any weapons. They didn't get him an offensive line. They didn't get him anything. They got him Le'Veon Bell, who was kind of washed at that point or just didn't fit in right. So it's definitely tough to tell, and like you're saying, it really does take 4 years or even more to tell if a quarterback is going to be good or not. It's very rare you get Russell Wilson in year 1 or 2 being really good, Mahomes in his second year winning the MVP, Lamar, who gets way too much slander, already winning an MVP in his second year. Deshaun, I know we won't get in, he's got some interesting things going on, but right away he was really good. Josh Allen, really good. So it's just
make a segment about Lamar Jackson, by the way, because that guy, the hate he gets is insane.
I don't get it. He seems like an awesome guy too, good locker room guy. Very funny, awesome.
Oh yeah, he seems like a good teammate and good leader and all that. All the stuff a quarterback should be. I saw this funny meme, and it was just kind of it's NFL analyst. Oh, this guy's a great quarterback. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. This guy is a great quarterback. It's some guy that works at a local Walmart. Oh, that guy should be playing wide receiver.
Yeah, no.
People are weird, man.
Yeah, they definitely are. Just because in his first 2 years as a starter, he's only won one playoff game. That's not a problem to me, honestly. Because that Titans team was just on fire. What are you gonna do? That Titans team was probably, besides the Chiefs, and they nearly did beat the Chiefs if they call some different plays or some things go differently, they could win that game. But
the Ravens defense was really good, but man, dude, Derrick Henry was on the mission.
Yeah, that was an awesome run by the Titans. But going back to the quarterback, so then the third pick, no one had any idea. It seemed like right away, as soon as the college football season ended, usually mock drafts pick up. It was like, Justin Fields the man. He's going number 3. He probably should go number 2. And then all of a sudden, he's going like going to be a second rounder or late first round pick all of a sudden. I don't know how he fell to where he was. And then it's like, oh, it's Mac Jones for sure is going to go there. And then it's like, oh no, he's probably going to go to 15 to the Patriots, which, did happen. But it's like, okay, it's between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. And everyone's trying to learn about this Trey Lance guy because, North Dakota State, FBS school, like I'd never seen him play in college. I'm sure, no one's really seen him play in college. He's only thrown like 300 passes in college, which is insane. And they ended up taking Trey Lance, which I honestly think is the right pick. I think right away Mac Jones will be better, but probably whoever goes to the 49ers would probably end up going to the best situation and being the best quarterback. But
yeah, that in New England, honestly, those two places. Great situations, honestly.
Right. We'll get into Chicago too, but I don't think Chicago's a terrible situation quite yet. But going back to Trey Lance, he's definitely is like Josh Allen. Not saying like Josh Allen this year, just saying Josh Allen coming into the league, being like, okay, he has a big arm, he's a big, strong guy, physical runner. He has a lot of potential. Could be something. It's going to take some time. He has some accuracy problems. So he really is like Josh Allen. I'm not saying he's going to be the same player or just as good because Josh Allen was borderline the MVP this year.
Yeah.
But no, I do like this because I feel like Mac Jones will be good, but it's going to be tough if he was bad or like to say that his. I'm not saying this is what like a lot of people are saying. Like his floor is Kirk Cousins, which is fine. His ceiling is Matt Ryan, which is also very good. But I feel like with the third pick, it's like boom or bust here with Trey Lance, and I feel like if Mac Jones did end up being bad, it would be tough to be like, you traded all this for Mac Jones, a guy not with a lot of skills that jump off the page compared to Trey Lance. But then on the other hand, Trey Lance, we haven't seen it, so we just don't know.
If your floor is Kirk Cousins, that's really good, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad either.
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins, for a while though, he was a really productive quarterback.
Yeah, I just think Trey Lance is more the modern day quarterback. Can make all the throws on the run, big arm, legs and everything.
But yeah, no, this is definitely gonna be one heck of a quarterback class to remember. Honestly, with all the chaos and stuff that was going on beforehand. But yeah, we just have to have patience.
Like honestly, I would like to say Trey Lance is gonna go out there and be a stud and be like Josh Allen and Mahomes. I haven't seen enough evidence to see it. Like the highlights are pretty good, but then there's some things that could possibly scare you.
They're highlights.
Right. It's literally has high in it's his high points. So I just don't know. I'd like to sit up here and say that Trey Lance is going to be a stud. He's definitely going to a good situation with good players. Like if he's not good in the first 4 years, I would say he's probably no chance. Just because like you have George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk's a stud. Good offensive line, great coach, good running backs and whatnot. Bosa, right? Good defense. So
good defense, really good defensive line actually. But yeah, no, for sure. Is honestly though, it's like they got the tools in my opinion. Now we just need to watch them develop.
Right, you got the tools that you want for the third pick. Are you gonna get the production that you should get? Garoppolo's still there. I keep going back and forth, like saying, oh, because they took Trey Lance, that Garoppolo is going to start the first year, which I think will happen. But then it's also like they could save up to $23 million in cap space by just cutting or trading him. So I just don't know what they're going to do.
If they cut him, I think they absorb quite a bit of that money. They don't just free up that money, But yeah, they could probably get like 10 million-ish or something like that. 10 million-ish if you cut Garoppolo. I just don't think they will. I think they'll probably have him start the first year, so he can learn, so the other guy can learn and whatnot, though, because Garoppolo, he isn't, necessarily elite to say, as we all know, and so that might be a good thing, honestly, him watching this quarterback who isn't really elite, go out there, and hopefully that can help him with his decision making, in the future. But also, I just don't really see what places Garoppolo can go, because I mean, this 23 million.
Yeah, 23 million.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't really know that many places where he could potentially go.
And to your point, it's not like Garoppolo's like terrible if he's your starting quarterback. Heck, if he probably hits Emmanuel Sanders, he's probably a starter. They probably win that Super Bowl, honestly, if they score that touchdown where he overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. So I think if he could stay healthy, he's always been pretty good, just because like in the Shanahan offense, he seems to almost make everyone good. But I don't know where he would go either. It's always the Patriots are rumored, but there's no way they want him on 23 million. I think that they would have to. I think it would honestly just take the Niners cutting him or his contract running out. I just don't see a trade really for him.
Yeah, that's another thing too, though.
And he has a no trade clause. He has a no trade clause, I believe. So.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, though, because no trade clauses. I mean, when you give that to a player, you're giving them a lot of control. Because honestly, the Garoppolo might want to stay in San Francisco.
Right, it's a good situation for sure.
Yeah, because people forget when players have to move. I mean, they have to move houses. Family potentially. All that's it's a lot of. It goes beyond just football.
Right, they are humans too. They basically get fired from their job. It's basically telling them so. From the human aspect, it definitely does suck, them having to move and all this stuff, things that don't get considered one bit. But yeah, I just think I think it makes more sense taking Trey Lance with the third pick, honestly, just going off potential. But honestly, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. It's going to be tough for the Niners to ship him out of there. It's probably going to come to them either cutting him or the contract is playing out, which is fine, because I think Trey Lance is going to need time, and I don't think Garoppolo's the worst guy to learn behind, and I think giving Trey Lance the proper amount of time is definitely going to be an important thing to his development, not throwing him out there too early. Like we saw with Mahomes, it was, he always says, it was really big for me to just sit back and watch Alex Smith and learn the first year how to play and whatnot.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, because if you trade Garoppolo, this guy has to go to a place where there's a good offensive line. They got some weapons. Maybe he can do a little something, after the regular season. But also, I mean, if you're running behind Garoppolo, I mean, this is a guy that was in New England, that won a champ, that was on that championship team. The guy that played behind Tom Brady. And so yeah, it might just be the best thing. Honestly, he's been to a Super Bowl outside of the Patriots. So it might be the best thing, honestly, just to just be his backup for a year.
No doubt. That's definitely a great guy to learn behind. Someone that was, Tom Brady mentored him, like the GOAT. So that's definitely, he could pick up a lot of big things that being Trey Lance. So I guess for right now, I like the pick, and we'll just see how it plays out.
No, we'll see how it plays out for sure. I mean, also just like off the field stuff, I mean, when people were talking about, trade Brady, Garoppolo's your future, those talks a few years ago, I'm sure you could guide him though when it comes to like the media and expectations and stuff.
No doubt, and I think Trey Lance is the youngest quarterback prospect. He can't even legally drink yet, so
like 20, 19.
He's 20, I believe. So
20, yeah. Okay.
So he's definitely got some time to learn and develop, and I think he could be really good, so we'll just have to wait and see. He's a big guy. He was recruited by a lot of D1 schools to play linebacker or safety, so he definitely has the tools to be a good quarterback.
Yeah, for sure, I agree.
Another quarterback I actually liked a lot coming into the draft, Justin Fields. I had him in the mock draft in the big board as my second best prospect and second best quarterback. I never got why he was falling. Like, I got some people saying the pre-read stuff, but that's actually Mahomes admitted to not knowing a lot of that stuff and just slinging it. And I think
oh yeah,
some of these guys that got judged for opting out and opting in, and like some of their play being taken away, was just weird to me in college football. And he had a couple bad games where his three best receivers all had COVID, so I wouldn't take that too much away from him. And He's only lost 2 games in college as a starter, which is really impressive, and played against really good competition. But I did think he went to a good spot with the Chicago Bears. Good team, Allen Robinson, stud receiver. Jimmy Graham, still, I don't like him as a Seahawks fan, but he could still make a play or two. Cole Kmet, tight end, I liked him. Not a terrible offensive line. He got weapons. Tyree, Cohen, David Montgomery came on the scene last year. I ran into him in the fantasy playoffs, and he put up 40 points on my team. I was like, okay, thanks. Where did this come from? So I learned about David Montgomery real early. My only fear is, because it seems like that Nagy and the GM could be on their way out, just based on reports saying that they nearly got fired both last year. Yeah. I fear that they throw him out there and he's not ready, and that could really put a toll on him, and maybe be like a Sam Darnold situation. So I hope that they ease him in, but then yet again, I think he could be really good right away. So I get another one of those things where I hate to just be not just riding the fine line and be like, well, we'll just have to wait and see. But I think we really just, again, with this guy, have to just wait and see. He's another young guy that has a lot of potential, but I don't know if he's ready to go right away.
Yeah, like you said, tons of potential. That's very obvious. But whether he can be good out the gates, we just don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
I think he would be more ready than Trey Lance, just saying off the competition he's played in his college career, and saying that he went to the National College Football Playoffs twice, went to the national championship this year, beat that Clemson team, but Ohio State has not had a good record with quarterbacks. They haven't really had a good quarterback ever in the NFL. It's kind of surprising. And, Dwayne Haskins situation stuff I don't think helps him, because while they do run a pro-style offense, it's kind of like Shanahan, where it just seems like they're good at getting guys open, the coaches, and so that could be a concern, but I think he has a lot more skills than Dwayne Haskins and whatnot. So I do hope he gets a fair shake in Chicago the first year, and if it doesn't go his way, that he is able to flush it. Just saying, because, your rookie year is so hard, but I think he could be really, really good.
Yeah, I think he nailed it, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah, as you were talking, that's all the stuff I was thinking about, but then you just ended up saying it.
Yeah, I think it's everything on Justin Fields. So here's the most interesting guy to me. Mac Jones, coming into the draft. It was like, okay, most mock drafts start the year, he was the 15th pick, which made sense, Not the most, just seems like a winner, not the most... His skills don't really pop out at you. He is really good in the pocket and has good accuracy and pretty good arm, which I think that's, where the Brady comparisons come into. Just saying, ability-wise, they are a bit similar. I do not think in one bit that their careers will play out the same, but it is funny that Mac Jones does fall to the place that we all thought he could go to.
Yeah.
And this is no one really talked about it, including us. Like, what happens if he falls? Like, it just seemed like he was going to go number 3, and it didn't even click with me until he didn't go number 3, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my goodness, he's going to fall to the Patriots, or Justin Fields is. And I was like, they did it again. They did it again. They're going to get one of these guys that they liked, and they ended up not even having to move, and they probably got the guy that they valued the most. Mac Jones, someone that can come in and play right away. It's going to be good for him. Like, I think he's the one guy that... I think he'll probably have the best rookie year. I think Trevor Lawrence has the potential to, but I would bet on Mac Jones having the best year. Just saying, he's going to be with the best coach ever. McDaniels is still a very good coach. I just don't think they knew entirely what to do with Cam Newton. Cam Newton unfortunately had some COVID stuff. He's been really banged up these last couple of years. Yeah. I saw this tweet. I can't believe it's been 6 years since Cam Newton won that MVP. It doesn't seem that long ago.
Because he had that. The best year of his career.
He really hasn't been that good since 4 years ago. So
also the amount of games he's missed has been insane.
Right, but I do think he is a good locker room guy. That's why they kept him around, which is kind of funny. He's always deemed as a bad locker room guy or cancer or whatnot, causing problems. But I think not the case. I think he was a good leader, and everyone liked him in New England. So that's why they honestly probably brought him back, because nothing skill-wise or production-wise says bring him back at all. Besides, not having a quarterback, but they do get Mac Jones, who I think can come in right away and play and be really good.